During last year's Black Friday, we had one of our clients hit their first $100,000 a day and break past their first $1 million a month, as shown right here. Now, this video is a full case study that we've already published a couple months ago on the channel, but that's besides the point. Now, there's a specific series of steps that we use to make this transformation happen. From the timeline of the promotions, to the type of creatives that we've used, to the types of wording that we've used in our ads, to the campaign structure, and much more. This is everything I want to detail to you in this video. But I must warn you, this is not going to save you if you don't yet have a sound ad creative process. And so for that, I recommend you check out the pinned video on the home screen of my channel. That is a 2-hour training walking you through everything you need to create fundamentally aligned ad creatives for this Black Friday. So what you're about to watch right now is roughly an hour and a half recording that I did a few months ago, doing kind of a detailing of my 2024 Black Friday Cyber Monday strategy, but this is the same strategy that we're still using this year in 2025. So very relevant nonetheless, even in this post-Andromeda era. So I thought this was gonna be a lot of value for you guys to check out today. So sit back, relax, and take some notes through the next hour or so, and I'll see you at the end. Welcome to this Black Friday Cyber Monday 2024 preparation call. For the next 60 minutes or so, I wanna talk to you guys about what we're going to be doing with our clients, what we have learned over the last 4 years now of running a Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. Some of you here, it's your second year running it with us. For me personally, again, it's my 4th Black Friday that I'm getting myself into. In 2023, as you may not know, we spent about $9.6 million on ads, and a very significant portion of this ad spend was during Q4. Q4 is the time of the year where we have a lot more ad spend across all of our accounts. It's the time where we put a lot of pressure on the machine. When I say the machine, I mean obviously Facebook, but I also mean our own internal systems. That's where stuff breaks. That's when we kind of realize that we need to rely on the systems that we have. And with that said, I've prepared today a document. I put it into a bullet point format for this call. I'll be then putting it into a longer format and explain kind of more thoroughly for an ebook that I'll kind of show you guys a little bit about today. But for now, even just bullet points, we've got 14 pages of bullet points to get through today. So I don't even know if an hour is going to be enough. I hope it is. If not, we'll either go slightly over time. I do have a hard stop personally, so worst comes to worst, we'll schedule a part 2 to this call to make sure that we get through everything. But I do want to start by thanking everyone that's contributed to it. I was able to kind of take the input of you guys and also kind of my own personal input from last year and kind of bridged everything together. Tula and Julie, respectively, I looked through what the bullet points that you guys have kind of brought up. I kept 95%, I would say, of the bullet points. There's like a few where I was like, I don't think we need them to mention, like it goes without saying. And I expanded on most of what you guys kind of has said and added some of my own stuff in there. So we'll get through everyone's points today, that's for sure. You'll probably hear a few things you're like, I wrote that. And indeed you did, some of which I didn't even change. So I just like put there as is. Any questions before we get started? Yep. Just so you know, I'm recording this call because it will be sent to our clients, and I'll probably just blur out everybody's faces when I do so. I will also send it to all of the ad engine students. It will be a module. And finally, I will probably sell it as part of the low ticket offer that will be the actual Black Friday Cyber Monday guide. So Tula, go into it.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if you're gonna blur face, let me just shut down my camera. It's an hour call.
Okay, sure, you can. Yeah, you can.
It's a good camera, but I feel more relaxed. That's why. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. So I'll share a screen. But again, please feel free to chime in, interrupt me, ask questions, comment. Like, this is a discussion. I don't want it to just be a monologue. Although, like, quite frankly, I will be speaking for a big portion of the call. Like, my Fathom note taker is gonna say that I'm on a monologue. That's for sure. Julie, what's up?
Is this a brainstorming or a presentation?
It's a presentation.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's more about like, this is what we need to do.
Perfect.
And this is less client specific. Today, my goal is not to be client specific. My goal is to be like, here's everything we need to do as a team to make this work in itself. This
Gotcha.
is not us brainstorming about every single one of our client accounts. This
Yeah.
will be done, but it will be done separately.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Can you zoom
So
in a little bit?
I will, of
Mhm.
course. And I just wanted to kind of show, like, I'm getting this ready as of right now. I'll change a few things, but like,
Nice.
there'll be this, one page like this per chapter, and like, I'll make all of it into like a nice ebook. For now, I just got these. I just put the text a little bit smaller earlier, but got all these. Oh no, that's it. Sorry, this one is the 14 pages of bullet points that we're gonna get through today. Okay,
Awesome.
you see this good? Cool.
Beautiful.
So we got 7 volumes to get through today, which are, you can think of them as chapters. We got planning and strategy. We got creative and offer optimization. We've got funnel preparation. We got execution and scaling. We got post BFCM strategy. We have agency operations, and we have security measures, which are all kind of the 7 overarching chapters, if you want, that englobe all of the points that we need to discuss to make this a success with the clients. Okay. So with that said, I'm gonna probably get up because it's gonna be easier, and I've been sending for a while now. But let's get to it. One of the first things that we'll need to start doing over the next few weeks is to do a complete analysis of each account, what worked and what didn't work over the last 1 or 2 years. It's going to be irrelevant for us to go further than 1 or 2 years because, quite frankly, too many things have changed in the e-commerce space for us to consider some 2020 or 2021 data as relevant data. This was prime time of the algorithm, COVID, and such. So a lot of that data is not very much up to today's standards, but still looking into what happened in 2023 and 2022 can give us a good idea of what could or can happen this year. Now, do note that last year I had made a calendar for kind of the cutoff dates of all the tasks that we should be doing internally and externally, so meaning the clients in themselves. We will also have a very similar calendar that we'll be building internally for us to know like the dates that we should be doing certain actions internally, the dates at which we should the clients, and finally the dates at which clients should be giving us certain things. Avoid testing new creatives. That's one of the biggest lessons we've had over the last few years. Focus on the concepts that have been proven to work over the last 12 months or more. It's not the time to come out with some new crazy market desires or awareness levels or creative types, or to say, hey, we haven't tried this for this client yet. Let's launch a brand new UGC framework. It's not the time. It's time to look back through our research centers for every client, look into all the winning combinations in the last year, even if this client wasn't with us prior to that period, to look through and analyze from a creative strategy standpoint, what were the components of each of these ad assets, and how can we just replicate that success for Black Friday? So that's at most what we need to do is iterate on past winners. At best, what we need to do is simply add a Black Friday offer banner or like wording to this said creative. So really just taking a UGC and perhaps like slapping a visual hook that says like Black Friday with like the offer in itself. So not reinventing the wheel, not making new creatives per se. To keep it going, same thing goes with offers. Avoid testing new offers. Look at the previous year's best performing offers and replicate past success. Now, do consider launching Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale earlier than the weekend itself. But I would say for most clients, earlier than November 15th, which is 2 weeks prior. It's the 2 Fridays before Black Friday this year. It probably doesn't make sense. Year by year, I feel like this tends to get blown out of proportion. I swear I see brands every year that they have like literally a Black Friday month or like a Black Friday quarter, which like it's October 1st and I'm going to see Black Friday ads and it just gets crazy through time. I think this can give a lot of FOMO sometimes to our team, but also to clients, where we might hear clients being worried about the fact that like, hey, my competitor's running a sale already, guys. Like, is he stealing my traffic? Am I not going to be able to like get those sales? And we don't want this to push someone to act erratically and launch like a sale or promotion earlier than planned. I've seen that throughout the years. Clients be like, oh, well, because my competitor just started, like I'm going to start too. Like, fuck it. I was supposed to start in a week, but let me start now. We don't want none of that because your audience, like, let's face it, they'll still be ready to buy during your scheduled time. And also know this is something to say to you, like our clients, the more customers they acquire at a discount, the more discount junkies they create. They'll only wait for their next promotion before buying again. Hence why like Black Friday, Cyber Monday usually is more of a reward for existing loyal customers, very bottom of funnel heavy. We'll talk about that today. Will previously have purchased at a full price to thank them for doing business with them before. Now, one thing we'll want to do internally, it's setting calls with every client, push them to actually give us their offer in itself. So one of the problem that we had last year, and that this was brought up a point by Julie, a lot of clients were just more of a debrief call. So we're like, hey, let's book in a call to talk about Black Friday. And I think on this call, it was more of a chit chat. It was like, yeah, here's strategies. Here's what we think could work. And then we would end the call with no clear pathway forward. It was more like, yeah, we'll catch up over Slack and see what happens for Black Friday. When we're going to schedule these calls for all clients, we need to end those calls with an actual conclusion. We need to come out of this call knowing when is it the offer is going to start, when is it going to end, what product or products is this on, what is the exact offer in itself, do we have a discount code, is this site-wide, is this automatic, all of that we need to know by the end of the call. Now, I don't want us to come on those calls and just be yes people. I don't want us to come on those calls and be like, yes, we'll do this, or like, hey, what are you guys planning on doing? Or like, what do you guys want to do? It's like, no. Reason we're meeting today is I'm giving you all the best practices that I've seen throughout the years that we can apply for all of our clients so that we can come in on the call and be like, hey, based on your brand, here are our recommendations for what we would run for Black Friday. What do you think? And then it starts as a negotiation almost. We can kind of reverse engineer that and like, it's a collaboration effort more than, hey, what do you plan? Okay, let's just write it down. Now, set proper expectations with clients regarding their offer. So again, making sure this is more in regards to the calendar. We're going to have to make sure that everybody just kind of submits stuff according to the timeline that we have. There will be a cutoff date for everyone to submit their information. And we're going to kind of lock things in after that date. And we're going to make sure that like we're going to be able to start creative production, copy production, and just campaign scheduling internally without like last minute changes. We'll get back to that a little later today. I'll kind of skip that ahead because that was pretty much the same thing in itself. So with that being said, one thing I also want to kind of bring up is prepping Christmas and early New Year as soon as Black Friday, Cyber Monday is done or even before. There's nothing worse than getting past the Black Friday, Cyber Monday point and realizing that you've put all your eggs within one basket. And that happens a lot throughout the years where I've seen our clients still get to December 1st and then they're like panicking. They're like, this was a big month in November. Okay. And then December 2nd, they're like, okay, so what's the plan for December? Like, what do we do now? Is this it? Is this over? Like they just don't know what's about to happen for the month. And there's a lot of uncertainty, right? And I'm telling you, whatever you think Black Friday is going to be in terms of craziness, it'll be worse than what you think it is. I don't think you're ready until you've already experienced it. I think Ashraf, I think you're the only one here who hasn't yet done a Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Have you?
I did. Yeah, I have.
You
one.
did?
Yeah. You
did one? Okay. So then everybody's done Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's a lot of time and effort. It's a lot of stress on everyone's end, would it be clients or team side? It's that's why I mean it's going to be a big stress test on our systems internally, on making sure we are dialed in with ClickUp scheduling and task management and so on and so forth. But we want to be ready for the after. We want to have the what happens next question already answered and accounted for. Given how we recommend having all creative assets and ads scheduled for Black Friday, Cyber Monday a few weeks in advance, which we'll talk about also today, that cutoff date is going to be anywhere towards the end of October or early November at most. We'll want to have everything scheduled on the ads manager so that essentially October is going to be a big creative month for us. Not only in UGC to like double the production, which is something that Julie has recommended that we do, the makeup kind of for November, because we're going to be swamped during November in itself. We're going to be producing a lot more creatives. But we're also going to be editing a lot of the editing, like a lot of the current assets. It's going to be a very creative editing heavy during October itself. So adding these Black Friday, Cyber Monday banners, adding these visual hooks to our existing winners, all of that will be done probably during October, so that by the end of the month, we'll be ready to schedule everything on our accounts. Cool. Cool. With that being said, that'll give us some time then, so that like the way I see it is in November, media buying team is going to be busy scheduling stuff, killing ads, relaunching new ads that we've already had like on backlog that are ready to, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, scaling budgets, surf scaling, right? Very busy on the media buying front, which is going to leave a lot of time for Julie and the editors to work on creating the December stuff. So I think October is going to be kind of a 2-in-1 month, like creating for October itself and prepping for November. Whereas November itself is going to be preparing for end of November, early December, and all of December in itself. We could start as early as September, by the way, this preparation, right? September could start making up for creatives that we know we're going to need evergreen-wise in October, so that it reduces the usual workload we have in October creative-wise to make up for the fact that we're going to have to spend more time building Black Friday, Cyber Monday creatives in October, so on and so forth, right? We're just kind of building in advance for the creative backlog that we'll need to have. Cool. Now, I will say that in an upcoming point, but one of the things, right, that like can also reassure clients is for them to know, and like they might ask questions about it. It might be good for us to be proactive about it and mention it. If any client is currently watching this video, then you're going to hear about it. Evergreen ads are not going to be turned off during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's something very important to note. Every year, for some accounts, for some reason, we see evergreen ads just sometimes performing better than the offer-specific Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads, which great. We end up scaling more on the evergreen ads than we do on the Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads. For others, we are kind of put into a position where the Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads are performing better than the evergreen ads, but we're still going to keep them on so that they can get more data, right? There's more people that are primed to buy. So chances are the ads will get more data because they'll have more clicks and more purchases than usual. And that'll lead to, once Black Friday is over and we turn off offer-specific ads, our evergreen ads are already on. They're already out of learning phase. They've gotten tons of data the previous couple of weeks. So Facebook knows who to keep going after. So that kind of makes up for less of a slump after Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Talking about the slump, let me take a quick sip of water. So I want to make this clear. We need to be proactive in telling clients that it's not a matter if December and or January will absolutely be slower month, the harder you go at Black Friday. For some, you might even be at a loss during those months. I see the extra profits that people make during November as like the nuts that a squirrel would have stashed away to survive the colder winter months, right? It's like the stash that you've made to help you survive the rest of the year. For some, this hits in January, given how they may have a solid December filled with sales. In our Q4 calendar that we had last year, that it's not going to be that different this year. You're going to kind of see that at the start of December, we can play with urgency, right? In December, we can talk about how, hey, if you want to get this in time for Christmas, you need to buy this product before, the 15th. So it's very like urgency and FOMO based. It's like, buy this before this date or you're not going to get it for Christmas. If you're going to get yourself a gift or buy a gift for a loved one, buy it now. So it's very gift heavy angle, and FOMO with the urgency of like, we're starting to get to the point where you're just not going to get it in time shipped for Christmas. And then there's Boxing Day, which for some, it's a great period. And some even have their Boxing Day sale all the way up to like a New Year's sale. So that's why, December is not that bad for a lot of brands. But for every brand, no matter how like your schedule is, I am telling you, the days after Black Friday, so the end of November and early December, they're bad. They're bad for everyone. Always bad. Because again, you've just rinsed the audience in itself. You've just siphoned all the money there is to siphon out of the market within a couple of days. There's nothing else left. So with that being said, we're going to recommend that you guys follow like our promotional calendar in December to stay afloat. But no matter what we do, January is always going to be a slower month, which we'll talk about later. Once the time comes, we'll prepare you guys to how to attack January. Some things that we will want to do, it's hype ups or lead gen prior to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Those can start as early as the start of October, which might mean that we will be making some hype up Black Friday assets in September to have them ready for early October. So you create a hype up. We can create either like a hype up or a reminder period for, you know, Black Friday sale. Which some of the ways that we could do so, it's like there's engagement ads, there's reminder ads like we've ran for one of our clients. There's also just awareness campaigns too that we can run, which they all increase reach, engagement, and people even have in-app reminders to make sure that they're like gonna tune in to the sale. So what you do is you build a pool of people that you know will be ready to attack your store on day one. Lead gen is probably also an amazing idea to do at this time of the year. You can run ads with an instant form or to a custom landing page where you advertise a VIP list and you're like, hey, all of our VIP customers will get 48-hour exclusive access to our Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. Opt in now to benefit from the VIP sale. And then what you do, it's 2 to 4 or 1 to 2 days after or before, your Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. So 24 to 48 hours is what I meant before your actual Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. You open it only to a VIP segment in your Klaviyo email list. Cool. Us as an agency, this was written by Julie, which is ideally not onboard new clients, which is just impossible in itself for us to just stop acquisition, or else we too would be out of business at some point. But I think it's more on the sales side to be crystal clear about timelines and expectations. So when we do onboard someone, be very clear about like, are we going to run a Black Friday Cyber Monday ad? If so, how's it going to look like? To be crystal clear about that so that we're not too like swamped once that happens. That's it for volume 1. Any questions on that? Cool. If I keep going at this pace, we're going to have time to go through 3 volumes today. So I need to pick up the pace. All right. Volume 2, creative and offer optimization. So talking about a creative positioning standpoint, most creatives will be product aware or most aware during Black Friday Cyber Monday. Why? Because we're focusing on the offer. We're focusing on a discount. And usually when that's the case, we're talking to a very aware audience. So we're primarily pushing over the edge anyone who's entered our funnel in the previous months. That's the main goal of this time period of the year. Exceptionally, although we typically focus on top of funnel audiences mainly, and in fact, we don't do retargeting for 99.9% of our clients, in this time period of the year specifically, up to 80% of our budget for specific accounts that probably have a very poor email marketing experience, we might go all the way up to 80% of the budget of ads allocated to retargeting. Okay, because not every client crushes it on the email side. Some have a team, some don't. And even the ones that do, they might not have a crazy good strategy where they also need ads to help with the retargeting. So we got a room to play here. It's one of the only times of the year, again, in which we might focus heavily on that retargeting pool. Black Friday Cyber Monday, once again, is bottom of funnel heavy. Why? Look at awareness level and positioning. By definition, Black Friday Cyber Monday focuses on offers. Whether that's a BOGO, so buy one, get one free, or a discount. Typically for someone to take advantage of an offer, they must be aware to some degree of their desire to purchase. Remember, we are not just capitalizing on our own bottom of funnel, which means we're not just retargeting anybody who's came into our funnel. No, we can also make cold ads. But our cold ads are primarily going to be product aware at this time of the year. Why? Because all of our clients' competitors, they've ran ads to unaware audiences in the last year. They've ran ads to solution-aware audiences. They've ran ads to problem-aware audiences. And you're going to come in with product-aware ads, swooping in all the warmth and goodwill that your competitors and yourself would have created in the market in the last year. So again, product aware would be your competitor's audience or the market's audience as a whole. Most aware would mean most likely your audience in itself. So anybody who already knows you, they already follow you, they've already gone to your website, they've already seen one of your ads, they just haven't converted yet. Now, let's talk offers. Keep it simple, clear, and straight to the point, okay? I think this got lost in translation, but I had talked about one of our values here as an agency. If you guys remember, we have KISS as a value, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Which we want to follow this rule across offers during Black Friday. I see clients sometimes, they make crazy complicated claims. Buy these 2 products and get a third one at 10% off only if you're a previous customer. You know, it's like the offer has 3 lines long of explanation about what it is. People are in an ADHD panic frenzy mindset to buy during Black Friday. Think TikTok consumers times 10. People are seeing way more ads than usual. They're spending a lot more money than they're used to. Adrenaline is at an all-time high. You need to tell them very simple instructions. You need to look them in the eyes and tell them, do this. Very simple, action-oriented. So with that being said, the best offer to run for Black Friday, Cyber Monday usually is a very simple, flat, site-wide discount. Very simple. And hint, this offer should be automatically applied to the entire website to remove friction from the customer. So don't add 25% off site-wide discount, add the code 25 off to benefit from it. No. Make it frictionless. Make it automatic. I forgot to add this here, but I'll say it orally. You need to add an app that allows you to have a scratch-off price on a client's website, okay? So which means if the old price was $50, 50 needs to be scratched off. It needs to say 25% off, let's say as an example, and then show the new price in red. Why? I've had clients that have applied discounts site-wide without one of these apps. And then what happens if they don't have one of these apps? Then the price looks like it's not discounted. You know that it's discounted as a brand owner because it shows, let's say, $40 instead of $50. But a consumer who has never gone to your website or doesn't remember your prices doesn't know that. And they might think like, yo, is there an error? Like, I'm not seeing any discount on the website. So make it clear that there's a discount happening on the website. In fact, I'm even going to add this here. Make it clear with an app with a scratch off discount. Okay. So as an example, consider establishing a 25% discount off the entire website. Don't have customers remember a code or they'll forget it. They'll buy at full price. And then also what ends up happening a lot is like they'll just clutter your customer service reps and they'll ask for like a credit, which again, you know for a fact, because you have more orders, you'll already get more customer service inquiries. You don't want to have more than you need to. So with that being said, the only time you might want to use a code is for your VIP list, right? Remember what I said earlier? VIP list, 24 to 48 hours before everybody else to get access to the sale. You might want to do an email blast through Klaviyo. Send them an email that is going to tell them like, hey, get access to the store right now. Just you use the code VIP25 to get access, valid for the next 24 hours. Okay. Now, this is something that Julie brought up, which I think is an amazing point in itself. And be mindful to also not have too low of a sale, right? Some are reluctantly running a promotion just for the sake of doing it. And they're coming out with something like a 5% off or like a 10% off. Look, at this point, you'd rather just not run a sale if that's what you're going to come out with. It's almost like a slap in the face for your customers. It's not worth it. Like every competitor is going to be running more of a sale than that. So that is unless you have a very highly priced product. We're talking in the thousands or more. If you have a product worth, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 or more, then yes, a 5, 10, 15% off is a very big discount at this point. But for most people, it's not the case. Now, talking about ads overload, that is a thing that I also feel like we fall victim to a lot in these time periods of the year, where essentially what we end up doing is like, we're going to be tempted to like throw everything we've got at the algorithm, right? Julie and the editors and the creative team are going to spend a lot of time in September, October to like just build a bunch of ads. And then sometime us as media buyers, we're going to be too much in the trenches and we're going to be like, oh, great, let's launch like 20 ads at the same time. Let's crush it. We're going to raise budgets. And like, look, remember to one, keep some ads on backlog. Don't launch everything at the same time for Black Friday. Keep some in your back pocket to like optimize the ads if ever some of your first batch fail, first of all. Second of all, if you launch too many assets at the same time, you're going to spread yourself too thin, okay? And you're not going to get as many conversions as we could get. So that's that. Now, very important point for us, but also for clients. Stay consistent, be ready in advance. And I cannot stress this enough. It is not the time to change someone's offer a week before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or to decide to do something completely different the day of, or to erratically plan an extension of your campaign or stick to the plan. 99% of the time, stress on both parties comes from erratic last-minute decisions, which means for us as an agency, plan shit in advance. Have campaigns scheduled. Make sure the clients are going to go to bed the night of Black Friday and be like, all we need now is for everything to go live. We're good. We're set up. And not to know that only the Thursday of, but to know that 2 weeks in advance. They're like, all right, great. I can chill. I can relax. Now it's just a matter of waiting at this point. We want to get to that point, okay? And that's our responsibility to do so. And it's also a responsibility to help clients stick to the plan and be like, look, there's no changing stuff the day of. Like, it's not going to work. Again, it's not good for you, for us, for everyone. It's stick to the plan. There's a reason there's a plan in place, okay? So we aim to have all creative assets, copy, strategy drafted and scheduled a few weeks before D-Day, so before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, to only leave optimization and budget allocation up to our team during the big weekend. Because I'm telling you guys, we will be revisiting work hours during that time. We have to be there during the weekend of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And serve scaling for an entire weekend, it's a lot. So that in itself should be the one and only priority that we have as a team, is just serve scaling during the weekend. That's it. Anything outside of that is just going to be too much for us to handle. So again, it's very stressful, right? When you're going to be running 10, 15 ad accounts at the same time, that is just Facebook, right? You're probably going to have some Google, some on TikTok too. So we're probably going to be running 25 to 30 total ad accounts live, and all of them spending 10, even 20 times, sometimes more than their typical daily budget. It's a lot. So all our attention and focus should be on optimizing money, not like making new ads or worrying about the offer. And that's why I say plan in advance. Cool. This is actually something I believe that was brought up by Tula, which is consider merging Black Friday and Cyber Monday into one sale. So avoid having a dedicated campaign for Cyber Monday, unless it's like an insane offer, and add at least 3 days of active code sale. Meaning, sometimes some people, they'll ask to have like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday creatives done for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then some different ads with a different offer for Monday. Quite frankly, 99% of the time, it doesn't make sense to do that. Why? We're going to run ads only for what? 2 to 3 days? Stop them, launch new ads only for 24 hours? There's no time to optimize. You're much better off launching ads once and optimizing them over the span of 4 to 5 days. That's a much healthier Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Usually you give more ammo to the algorithm in order to kind of figure out who to go after in a short amount of time, right? But it just spreads efforts usually too thin when doing that. Now, do not run ads past Cyber Monday. Unless the account's history shows otherwise, you could do an extension, but know that if you choose to run an extended Cyber Monday sale, you are preparing yourself for a much slower December. Every time I've seen a client extend a Cyber Monday sale, December suffers even more. You will squeeze out everything there is to offer from your audience, and you will face the consequences during December with a slower month if you decide to go like too much further with this. Cool. Now, one thing too, to I think prep our clients for mentally, and if you're watching that as a client or as a brand owner, I highly recommend this specific video. If you want to search it up on YouTube, it's a slightly older video, but it's called "What Really Makes Conversions in Your Business: Marketing Ecosystem Explained." And it's a video talking about like ad attribution in itself. So back in the days when my beard was non-existent. So with that being said, recommend you check it out. Why? Attribution will get murky. It'll help you understand why is it when you're going to send email blasts during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Facebook ads will have a higher ROAS and a peak on that day, or why we might see an overlap between sales coming from Google and Facebook, and much more. So I highly recommend you watch this video to help you understand the mystery that sometimes is as at attribution, if you're not yet used to it, given how it'll inevitably become apparent during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Any question on volume 2 before we get to volume 3? Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Cool. So now let's talk about the funnel. In September and October, our focus is on filling up the funnel with top of funnel audiences. Why? it's our last chance at running cold ads at the CPMs that we'll get during this time of the year. CPMs are usually at a lower point in that time of the year. And even now, quite frankly, at the time recording this in August, CPMs are much lower now than there will be in Q4. So if there's a time to run ads to fill up the funnel, when I say filling up the funnel, it's like, it just means running cold traffic. Because by default, when you're going to be running cold traffic, you'll have a few people that will see the video ads. Boom, you have video view engagers. You'll have a few people liking your client's Facebook page or following them on Instagram. Boom, you have Facebook and IG engagers. We're going to have a few people going to the website. Boom, you have 180 days website visitors retargeting pool. All of these people right now we're acquiring at a lower cost because CPMs are lower now. They might not be purchasing now, and it's fine. If you're smart about your Q4, you might even be willing to go at a slight loss or perhaps lower results in August, September, and even October sometimes to be slightly a lower results than usual, but have more traffic, have a lower cost per click, to then be able to retarget these people at a lower cost during Q4. It'll save you money in the long end. We've talked about creating hype up. That's a double point actually, so let me remove this one. This one too. Honestly, I'm not really going to bring this up now. I think I'll kind of go. I'll go back to it. Yeah, there's a few points that I realize are doubles in itself. Okay. Funnel on the website. Clients should not experiment with a store or do any changes to the site weeks before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This goes back to the same thing as with ads. It is not the time to do CRO or test new landing pages during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If you have a CRO team or if you're testing new landing pages, I recommend you stop this process part of Black Friday, Cyber Monday and coast, quote unquote, on the efforts you've done throughout the year. And similar to ads, if you've ever used dedicated landing pages, reuse those same landing pages and just change the wording around for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So same thing, just different wording. And hey, if our client of ours didn't use a dedicated landing page and they're using product page or collection page or home page, let us as media buyers go through every single source that we've sent traffic to in the last year. And that's part of our analysis to do. It's like, where have we sent traffic to and what page has yielded the best results so that we can send traffic to that page again during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Cool? Cool. It'd be great for our clients to consider essentially updating their welcome flows or post-purchase email flows during BFCM. So I'm talking about emails. I said earlier I was going to get back to it. I'm getting back to it now. When someone receives their order confirmation, it'd be great to let them know to expect like shipping times that might be longer than usual, right? So that you are upfront and proactive about the fact that, look, it's Black Friday for you, but it's Black Friday for everyone, which means shipping carriers are going to be slower because there's a lot more package volume. Your refund or return policy and timelines, right? Because if people are buying stuff as a gift, they'll want to know if and until when they can return it. So again, be proactive. You might even want to start sending campaigns or a one step in your flow dedicated to like a holiday FAQ, right? Like what are the typical questions that your clients might have during the holiday season? The revenue curve of the Black Friday Cyber Monday weekend looks like this. On Friday itself, the morning of the, I'm not talking about like if somebody runs a Black Friday month or a Black Friday 2 weeks. I'm talking specifically about the weekend. It looks like that. On Friday, the budget is at an all-time high. Why? Because the sales are at an all-time high at the start of the day. The day starts with the peak. Usually you get the most amount of sales and the highest purchase conversion value volume earlier in the day on Friday. So it starts with the peak. Why? Because people are excited, right? It's the hype. It's like, shit, Black Friday is starting right now. I need to buy it. Wow, this is the day, right? So they'll buy at the peak. As the day goes by, the curve slows down, okay? Typically, you'll get a second small peak right at the end of the day, around 4, 5, 6 p.m. Why? People are coming out of work, right? They're coming out of work, they're going back home, and they're buying again. And then it'll keep going down, and usually you'll have a stable line, Saturday, Sunday. And then on Monday morning, The opposite will happen. It'll start going up and up and up and up again until it hits a peak towards the end of the day on Monday. Why? Because now there's FOMO. As the day goes by on Monday, the FOMO increases. People are like, oh man, the sale is about to end. It's almost done. I need to buy right now. Or like anybody who's seen your ads during the weekend because like you spent a lot more money than usual, they're going to be like, I need to buy right now. Like I need to, this is it. Like this is my last chance type of thing. Okay? Which means from a media buying standpoint, ad budgets need to be higher than what we predict them to be needed at the start of Friday morning. We're not scaling up on Black Friday. We're scaling down on Black Friday. I'm talking about the Friday specifically. You'd rather be aiming for $10,000 a day daily budget, whereas your real aim mentally is $2K a day. Spend a lot of money at the start of the day and then lower it as the day goes by to end the day at about $2,000 as an example, right? This is just me throwing ideas. You scale down during the day. The weekend, you somewhat maintain. You might do a few fluctuations during the day. And the Monday, you scale up until the end of the day. So it goes a curve like this. It's like a pendulum. It looks exactly like that on that weekend. Cool? Okay. We'll have a few, again, duplicate points here because I've already talked about them. So let me just scroll down. Yep. Serve scale according to the last 2 years of data per account, meaning exceptionally, we won't simply optimize an ad account daily as we usually do. So now this is for us, media buyers, performance managers. Here we'll be doing serve scaling. What is serve scaling? How will we be doing that? For every client that has triple wall, what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to select on the left-hand bar, like with the little check mark, select the campaigns that are live. And we'll select the two metrics. We'll select purchases versus spend. And we'll be following the hourly curve of this data. And we'll be making scaling or descaling decisions every hour, which means we might scale up during an hour and we might scale down the next hour, depending on trends. Why? We have to be more efficient on these days when it comes to spend. Because again, there's just a lot more budget than usual, and we have to squeeze out as much as possible from that day as we can. Now, for any client that is not currently on Triple Wall or Hyros, we highly, highly recommend you to get on it for all of Q4. They make hourly reporting very clear and easy to read, which allows us to scale with much more confidence and also real-time data. We all know that Ads Manager is sometimes up to 6 hours late. I know that from a lead gen perspective. I've got leads that opted on my funnel outside of Facebook, which I got notified from my CRM that I got a lead, and it doesn't show up on Facebook Ads Manager until hours later. Same thing happens during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Think about it that way. It's like, have you ever, and I'm saying this to the team, but also to anybody perhaps watching that, have you ever wanted to get into like a very big concert from like a huge artist, right? And like, they're hyping up the sale, they're hyping up everything, and then they're like 10 a.m. Sunday morning, the tickets go live. And then once you try and go live on the website, the server crashes. The website's down. You have to refresh. The website doesn't load. Then you have to open it from a new account. And then you have to, and then nothing works because there's just too much load on the website. Well, think about this. Facebook, Google, TikTok, any app platform during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, there's more advertisers, which means there's more users on the business side. And there's more shoppers, which means there's more users on the consumer side. And guess what? There's more money being spent on ads too. So the ratio of ads versus feed posts is as big as it ever was. So is it possible that the platform will fuck up? Is it possible that the platform will have a delay and some lags? Yes. Hence why highly, highly recommend third-party data softwares during Q4 especially. Yeah? As you said, Ashraf, yes, sometimes you cannot even upload creatives on the actual Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. Indeed, like Ads Manager is very laggy at times during this weekend. Now, to help you guys out, it's probably going to be good to set up automations and rules on your ad accounts, but also to take a manual look at it. Use those more as crutch, right? To like help you in the meantime. It could also be rules set up on Triple Wall as an example. Because some of our clients have Triple Wall rules enabled for them. And the thing is, again, Triple Wall will read real-time data that Facebook won't during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So it's good for you guys to know that. Yep. Again, it's going to be advisable, and not only advisable, like mandatory for us to stay on during the weekends, whereas we typically are here only during the week. For that weekend only, it's the one weekend in the year where we're going to have to be on. Checking the accounts every couple of hours. Saturday, Sunday are usually quite stable, so it's not as crazy as Friday or Monday itself. They're more stable as days, but checking the accounts every couple of hours and making sure to like perhaps do optimizations if need be, at least following a 3-a-day rule on Saturday and Sunday, meaning like morning, midday, evening, to kind of optimize the accounts at the very minimum during the weekend itself. We'll be able to like present, we'll be present to answer like client questions, concerns, and rapidly troubleshoot any arising issues. Because look, the truth is, as Ashraf said, it's not an if there will be problems, it's a when. Something will fuck up during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's a fact. It will fuck up. We just don't know when it will. So we got to be ready for it. Yeah? Cool. Now, when it comes to the website, one thing I recommend that anybody adds to their website is an announcement banner to the top of the website, which is, let me see if I can find a website right now that does it. Let me go to Cuts Clothing as an example and see if I can find them doing it. There you go. This little blue banner at the top. You want to have this page so that, look, every page I'm going to go to, this banner follows. I'm going to go on a product page, this banner follows. Every page that you go to, it's there. You want to have an announcement bar like this on every page that explains that there's a Black Friday Cyber Monday promotion going on, what it is, until when is it available, and any shipping disclaimer. Also, consider changing your hero image on your homepage to mention the ongoing Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. So like this here, the top, right? Exactly like this. It couldn't be a better example. Cuts is having an anniversary sale, right? So you would want to have like Black Friday Cyber Monday, percentage off site-wide, right? Always, like, if you're asking yourself, what should I do? Take a look at the big guys. This is a 9-figure brand right here. They're doing, like, this is an anniversary sale. Look at this. Banner at the top, and here, this couldn't have been better as an example. I swear it looks scripted. It's not. But, like, this is what you need to do when you have a sale, like a Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. Make it clear as to what it is. And same thing as I mentioned earlier about the discounts, right? You can see original price, and then right beside it, you can see discounted price, and then you can see the percentage off at the top. So like, you know, there's a discount on it. You know, it's live. You know, it's applied to it. And that's what we want. Now, if any shipping or stock issues arise, as they commonly do at this time of the year, and sometimes they fall outside of your control. When I say your control, I mean the business owner, the e-commerce brand owner control. Communicate. There's nothing worse than hiding behind your screen and not replying it, like your increasing inbox of like angry customers. Be open about it. What I recommend is that if you find out that you have shipping or stock issues, send a campaign, apologize to your customers. You're like, hey, look, we fucked up. We were victim of our own success. We didn't plan for this. Right now, we're having shipping delays. Thank you so much for trusting us during this time of the year. We'll be updating you. And then second thing that you do is you let them know, when can they expect the next update from you? Hey, look, right now, all I know is that we've halted shipping, or like we don't have any more stock, but expect to have another email from us every 2 days from now, updating you on the situation. And then you send them daily or bi-daily emails to update on the situation. Transparency always wins in these instances. Clients like to feel reassured. Okay? Cool. Google Ads. So Google Ads, when it comes to your branded campaigns, which are usually kind of set it and forget it campaigns, change the ad headlines, change the descriptions to make sure that they fit the Black Friday Cyber Monday theme and offers, so that, again, they reflect the overall sale happening on the website. For any other campaign, let's also change our site links, callouts, structured snippets to provide additional info as to the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale going on. Okay? For lifetime value, this is just a little tip in the back end, which comes from Tula, actually using bounce back offers. So anybody who buys during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, give them like a discount that is not, you cannot stack it. So basically it's not valid right now during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but they can use it later on, which will incentivize these subscribers to shop now to buy, and then come back later to treat themselves again, perhaps in December. Now, definitely recommending you use all of the life cycle channels, which this also comes from Tool in itself and a little bit from my part at the end. Email, SMS, on-site banners, right? Meet customers where they are. And I would say we had a client get good results last year with direct mail using Postpilot. So again, sending actual like physical cards via mail to their clients or to their list. So it could be great to do this. Okay. Now, one of the biggest duties as a brand owner to do during Black Friday, Cyber Monday is to be at the top of your game when it comes to customer service and social media content management, okay, or comment management. You will have an influx of customer service requests and many more comments and questions under the ads that will be running. We ask that our clients reply to these comments, show that they're engaged, and be part of the hype. Which, in other words, it's like, I kind of say it right here, it's the equivalent of a rock band singer that like is surfing the crowd's wave, you know, it's their crowd surfing. It's like you're with them during this craziness. And that will typically like help increase social proof very rapidly in your ads, but also make clients feel secured and eliminate the amount of refunds and returns that you're going to have. Okay. I've talked about it already earlier, but do not turn off evergreen ads in itself. Now, the brands that typically do the best during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they have some form of giftability, wow, it's a hard word, giftability nature on their product. They're easy to gift during Christmas and aren't too high ticket. I want to be clear. We're talking about Black Friday as being this crazy time. We're talking as if money falls out of the sky, and it does for a lot of businesses. But about, I would say, typically 65 to 70% of our clients see far above normal sales during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which still leaves a 30 to 35% of our clients that see either similar sales level or even a slight dip, considering that the party's elsewhere for their audience, meaning it just didn't really work out for them as they expected. It happens. Okay. And that is going to be our job also to manage that internally with clients for which this happens. One thing, do not let ego, and I mean that more talking to our clients. I've heard that, and I'm sure some of you here have heard that from clients before. I'll sometimes hear like, oh, we don't do sales, or our audience doesn't really like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I call this bullshit. Honestly, don't let ego get in the way of running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. We're not recommending you always have sales going on, but the market is so primed to purchase at this time of the year. It would be unwise to pass the opportunity of running a sale. Would that sale be your only and biggest promotion of the year? That some of our clients frame it that way, right? It's like truly the only sale they run in the year. Julie, I saw your hand up. You'll be able to go in a second. Now, keep in mind, most e-commerce brands, they'll see growth in 4 peaks during the year, right? Because another thing that I'll also hear there, it's like, oh, well, I much prefer having an evergreen brand. I want like sales to grow consistently, right? Like I don't want to have a big peak during Black Friday. Like I'd rather just be consistent. It depends how you define consistency. Most brands will have 4 peaks in the year. 1 every quarter. 1 in Q1, oftentimes around Valentine's Day, or perhaps with a spring sale or a new product launch around springtime. 1 or none in Q2, either usually with a summer product drop or a Memorial Day. 1 or 2 in Q3, around July 4th, then around back to school or Labor Day. And then finally with Black Friday, Cyber Monday in Q4. If you look at your brand as having 4 peaks in the year, I kind of look at it that way, right? The curve is slowly growing up. It's like you look at your entire year and you want to be able to like put a line on your curve. What you want to do is you want to be able to like not just have it be flat. Like it's normal to have these peaks, so as long as you're consistently moving in the right direction. Ideally, do not launch a new product right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. If we hear of any client saying, hey, I'm going to do a big product drop in August, or sorry, not in August, or like in October, don't, okay? Keep that launch on hand for early December. Why? Well, if you do launch something right before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's a sure way to steal sales from your Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And on the flip side, it's an amazing opportunity to give your new customers that you acquired during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a fresh intro to your brand with a new drop early December, and to allow for sales to not go down in December. We've seen good success with people actually dropping products in December, right after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is a natural way to stimulate sales within their current or new audience. Okay? Cool. Yeah. Cool. Now, when it comes to more like internal like structures, one of the things that we'll do, it's with our ad editors, we'll pair them in a team of 2, and we'll be able to have them both share across each other in the cloud the raw creative project files. So that way, like, they'll be able to share their Photoshop or Illustrator or Premiere Pro or After Effects file with each other, so that if one of our creators gets sick or is swamped with work or there's something happening to them, we'll be able to just delay or relay that work immediately to our other editor, so we don't delay the workflow. That is something that we've seen throughout the years that can happen during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So instead of having like one editor on an account, have 2 editors just collaborating on those accounts. We mentioned that earlier slightly, but front loading all of our UGC campaigns, which we know take 3 to 5 weeks, usually like at minimum, before we get content from our content creators. Know this, okay? 2 things. And I think, Julie, this is like your point, but I did want to bring something up here. First of all, I think we need to front load UGC because, well, naturally we need to make sure that we have the content on time for our clients, and it just would make sense for us to front load that work. But also, secondly, just like ad platforms, who else is saturated with work during Q4? Creators.
That's why I brought it up. I think I brought it up in a point later, but
oh yeah, you said it here actually. Sorry, yeah, you literally said it here. Yeah. So like, they're getting sent packages from every brand. They're probably gonna raise their rates too. So like, it's not a good time for us to do like a lot of UGC. Like, we would rather I would even say, Julie, like, front load it in September.
we could, because I was thinking we need to front load the BFCM month, and we also need to front load Christmas time and beginning of Jan.
Because we'll not only be wasting time with creators that are either creators that are on holidays,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Especially we've seen it last year during December, Nightmare. A lot of creators are not responding because they're on holidays, or creators that are busy with work, right? Or creators that like suddenly, hey, my rate goes from $100 a piece to like $500 a piece during Q4. Then it's like, fuck, there's nowhere around that. So we would rather front load some of this in September and October to not be met with like this crazy high rates or just this slow time from creators. Okay. Talking about UGC, no Black Friday, Cyber Monday specific UGC. Don't make a piece of content that where the creator says out loud, hey, look, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like the offer that we have is, don't do that. Okay. Do evergreen UGC pieces that can be reused after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and simply use visual hooks or banners through editing to make it Black Friday, Cyber Monday tailored. Although we can make holiday period or winter specific UGC, which can be considered evergreen since those can be ran for a few months, don't make just Black Friday, Cyber Monday or offer specific UGC. At worst or at best, use an AI voiceover cloned from one of our content creators where out loud and in the subtitles, we're going to say, hey, this is a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. But if we make a BFCM only UGC, we just wasted a valuable piece of content. That piece of content is just going to be live for 3-4 days and we can't really reuse it. So there's no point in doing that. We'd rather make it evergreen and then through editing, tailor it to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Okay? Going back to media buying, do not add a new platform just before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Okay? We're coming up on time, but I'm going to keep it going for 5 more minutes and then we're going to cut this into a separate session, I think, afterwards. We're not going to add a new platform just before Black Friday, Cyber Monday. TikTok, Google, we can add it after, but not right before. It's not the time. Just as it's not the time to test creatives, it's not the time to test anything at all during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I would even argue Q4 as a whole. Everything that needs to be tested needs to be done by September, maybe early October max. Q4, you just hold the fort. You start testing again as of January. For small businesses, and this is a little caveat I'm going to make, it's probably not applicable to any of our current clients, but it might be applicable to some of our audience that might be watching that. For small businesses, perhaps businesses which it's their first Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or they just launched their e-commerce brand, it's an amazing opportunity to gather data. I want to look at Black Friday, Cyber Monday as an opportunity to make bank or to sell a lot, but no, gather data. you got a crazy window of opportunity because people want to buy, and mainly anything. They're ready to throw money out of the window. They're wanting to buy from you. So it's a great time for a new business to focus on product testing, given you'll most likely have statistical significance faster than any other time period of the year. Okay, I'll wrap things up with those two, and then we're going to get into safety, which safety and client expectations I'll keep for another call. But the important kind of main points will have been discussed in this first part. So it could also be great to have a call about habits and lifestyle as a team, which I really agree. That we need to do to, like, what do we need to implement in our schedule and in our lives to kind of not burn out during Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Because again, there's more work involved. So we got to make sure that we keep yourselves in check. And then right before I let you go, to kind of wrap things up here, make sure that we have, and I think I'm going to bring this with like another point I was mentioned earlier, but have a post-mortem for every client. At the end of Black Friday, have a document where we kind of document what went well or bad for Black Friday for every client. And right before, what we're going to be doing internally is every client, we're going to have a document. Everything that we just discussed today, we're going to make kind of almost like a new research center, right? Like a not a research center in itself, but like a Google Doc that we're going to have with all of the research on every point that we brought up today for every client. Now, let's get started with part 2 of this Black Friday, Cyber Monday training. Now, with that being said, if you aren't new to our client pool and you have been with us since 2023, some of this might be familiar, which right now I believe is about half the current client pool has been with us last year around this time. Now, if you're watching this amongst our consulting pool of clients, or perhaps you're a new client, or you're just simply coming across this video, then I want to get you through our safety guidelines and expectations to best help you secure yourself and your business during Q4. There's a lot of things that happen during Q4 in itself that we got to remind ourselves of at this time of the year. Again, I'm recording this in August, which is usually where we start to think and plan Black Friday, Cyber Monday with all of our clients at the agency. Now, Q4, once again, is a very interesting time and a busy time of the year for most e-commerce brands. It's also not the time to begin any risky maneuvers, change credit card processors, plan a last minute sale. So we want to make sure that we attack the most important time of the year while limiting any worries and possible problems. So every year around late Q3, we typically see a wave of assets being banned on Meta, TikTok, and Google. So from business managers to restricted ad accounts or personal ad accesses, etc. So in other words, typically around August, September, there's a few bans happening. It's really not uncommon to have a business manager being banned, or to within the span of a week, a lot of our clients might see some ads getting rejected out of nowhere. And these typically happen because Facebook or TikTok or Google, they're tightening the screw before Q4. They know there's going to be a surge of advertisers. There's that there's going to be a surge of money being spent on the platform during Q4. So they'd rather kind of prepare and sift out essentially all the unwanted advertisers before Q4 to leave space for the big dogs, essentially, if you want. So sometimes we both know this if you're watching this video and if you've been advertising on these platforms for quite some time, there's just a lot of unnecessary bans or restrictions being applied to an account that should not have gotten these said restrictions. And I want to make sure that by watching this part of the video, you're not going to have that happen to yourself. So this is going to be primarily meta focused, given that's where like 60% of our ad spend is currently as an agency. And also it's just simply because Meta is typically the platform where most of these bans happen. Google is not as strict. TikTok is not as strict either as Meta. Meta is kind of its own separate and special beast, whereas there's not as many precautions to take with Google, neither with TikTok. So here we go. Now, with Meta itself, one of the best things you can do to help secure your business is to secure your business manager. Now, I have a video on YouTube, which I'm going to bring up right here, and I'm just going to put that on mute real quick. It literally is called Verify Your Facebook Business Manager and Avoid Bans and Hacks, which is one you can look into. This method still works today. What you do, in other words, is we actually show you how to create an app. And I'll put that in big quotes, an app with Facebook's developer platform, because anybody who is an app developer is forced and prompted to actually verify their business's identity which gives not the blue check mark, but a green check mark on the business portfolio side of things within Meta that shows you that you are a verified business entity, which means you had to provide Meta with some documents, some legal documents that prove that like your business entity is actually a legal entity. So for you to be able to do that, by the way, just letting you know, you need to have legal documents. So you would need to be incorporated. You would need to be at least registered, because you will be asked for these documents when doing so. Now, don't worry. When you are applying to get business verification through verifying a business manager, it might not be like accepted on the first go. What ends up happening usually is Meta might like reject your first wave of documents or ask for more documents, which also happens, which they'll say, hey, we verified your document, but we need additional information, which tends to happen. Personally, I did my verification in 2021, so it's been about 3.5 years now. Right at the start of 2021, I did it using the same method, which again, I recorded a video about a year ago, and it still works today. I've still implemented that in the last couple of weeks with some of our clients. Now, with that said, once again, you got to have a registered business entity. So again, follow the steps in this video that you can find on YouTube. Verify your Facebook Business Manager and avoid bans and hacks. Okay, I believe I also made a slightly updated version. If you go to my most popular video, how to create a Meta Business Manager account 7 months ago, I also have it in there, which this video actually blew up in itself, but it's pretty good all things considered and goes extensively over what needs to be done. Okay, now, second thing, verifying your personal ID. So very important. From time to time, I've actually seen clients getting their personal ad access restricted. Some of our clients currently have their personal ad access restricted. Many advertisers who've been advertising for a while know this game, where if you lose your personal ad access, it's kind of the top of the pyramid. So if I draw on screen to kind of show you what I mean, basically I'll put that in first, like I'll just call it like your PA, your personal ad access, PAA. This is like the top. This is your profile, okay, in itself. So your profile is at the top of that quote unquote pyramid. So let me just kind of open up, I guess, a web whiteboard here and show you how this works. So in other words, right at the top, you got your PAA, so your personal ad access. Okay, this is your profile. So your profile holds everything within your advertising journey. So typically, right below your profile, you'll have a business manager. Okay, your business manager is kind of the portfolio that owns all of your ad like assets. So typically, when it comes to ad assets, I'll just say like assets. This is anything from a ad account, a Facebook page, a pixel, an Instagram account, name it. So if you ever get one of these assets banned, well, it doesn't mean that you'll lose your entire business manager. It doesn't mean that you'll lose your profile. So it only affects the asset. So if you lose your Instagram account, it's not going to affect your Facebook page or your ad account or any of that sort. But if you lose any of these, so number one or number two, it will affect whatever is below. So if you lose your business manager access, then you've lost everything, which when I say everything is you can no longer log in on your Instagram account. You can no longer log in on your Facebook page. You've lost your ad account. You've lost your pixel. You cannot access any of those. So that's if you get banned with a business manager. It bans everything below, essentially, or it restricts you from accessing anything below. If you lose personal ad access, which Facebook's not going to ban your profile off the platform, what they're simply going to do is they're going to remove your personal access to advertising. Well, first of all, if you lose your personal ad access, you've pretty much lost access to your business manager and all of its assets. So in other words, this is the worst type of ban you can have, because you can no longer advertise ever on Facebook. You can not have any new business manager, any new ad account. You can no longer touch any ads with this profile. You would have to get somebody else's, let's say a sister, a sibling, a parent, a cousin, a friend's profile and use theirs to advertise. You would never be able to do it with yours again. So we don't want you to get to that point, which is why essentially we're giving you some instructions right here on how to verify your personal ID. So as an example, going to facebook.com/ID is a great way for you to upload a piece of ID in itself. It will ask you, hey, why do you want to verify your ID? Do you want to verify your ID because you want to advertise under a restricted category such as politics, social issues? You have to say yes. Even though that's not what you're going to do, even though you're not going to run ads under this here, you have to say yes. What does that do? Well, number one, if ever you want to run ads under a restricted category, well, now you can. And second of all, it's not going to impact positively nor negatively, essentially, your advertising experience, but you have to do that in order to Facebook, for them to prompt you to be able to verify your ID. Just like with the business manager, you have to create a fake app because it's an app that will be dormant, essentially, and will never be used. Here you have to say that, like, yes, I'm going to run social issues ads in itself, okay? I recommend, if you want to be slightly more bulletproof, although it's not all and be all, you can subscribe for Meta Verified, which what Meta Verified does, and if I show you right now as an example, and I go to my own personal profile on Facebook, you can see I have a little blue check mark, okay? Again, social proof, great, yay, blue check mark. It's besides the point. What that blue check mark represents is that you're not only ID verified, but Facebook actively is renewing the fact that you are a real person and you are less likely to be wrongfully banned. So not only that, they also give you access to a personalized line of support internally at Meta that is supposedly helping you getting access back to your account faster. The reason why I say this is not the end that all fixes out here, it is helping, but it's not the fix to everything, is I've personally gotten my own Instagram account banned over the summer. I was targeted by someone out there who wanted to see me off the platform. It's still possible to get banned, and it's still very hard to get back into the account, even if you've paid for Meta Verified. But it helps to some degree, is all I want to say, okay? Now, with that being said, you also get enhanced account protection, limiting possible hacks. In our history of working with us, we've had 2 clients lose access to the entire business manager with ad accounts containing millions in ad spend, a Facebook page with over 160,000 likes, etc. How? Typically, what hackers do is they'll very rarely hack into a business manager. What we've seen happen countless of times is, well, I say countless of times, a handful of times, luckily, but it's hackers get into someone's personal profile that has admin access to a business manager. So they'll hack, let's say, your personal profile, which you are admin to your business manager. And from there, they'll then add themselves and other accounts into the business manager's employees. They'll then promote themselves as admins, kick you out of the business manager, and take control of the business. We've seen that happening. Very unfortunate situation, but it all starts with getting access to the profile of the person who is the admin of the business manager, which is why we're telling you, hey, whatever is at the top of this pyramid right here, secure that. Okay, this is the most important part, your profile. Okay, so of course, enforce 2FA. So within your business manager settings, turn on two-factor authentication enforcement for anybody who is an admin of your business manager, including yourself. We recommend the app OTP Oath on the App Store. It's my personal favorite, and I recommend this one in order to have a two-factor authentication code with Facebook. Very important. Do not simply rely on 2FA with a phone number, meaning some people think that setting up a phone number to get a code sent to their mobile phone is the best way to secure themselves. It's not, because believe it or not, somebody could actually hack, would it be your SIM card or phone communication line in itself too. And again, I know this sounds far-fetched, but I've seen it happen. It is possible to someone to intercept these phone number codes being sent out to your phone. Second of all, let's say you are traveling, you're abroad, you're on the go, you're on the road, right? You're traveling for work, and you do not have access to your phone in itself because your phone is in airplane mode, or like your data is turned off because again you're traveling and you don't want to incur roaming fees. You won't get access to 2FA. So if you need to log in on the go, you can't log into your profile on the go. So again, a little bit inconvenient. So that's why I recommend to enforce 2FA with an actual code. Okay. Now, we recommend that as of no later than early September, you have added and set as a primary method, very important, okay, that you have set as a primary method the same credit card you want to use during Q4 as your primary method of payment. Not only that, I strongly recommend that you set up a backup payment method on your ad account that you know can serve as a backup all throughout Q4, okay? Now, adding or removing a payment method is one of the most common ways to get your ad account temporarily restricted from advertising for security reasons by Meta. They'll literally ban your ad account when you add a new payment method, and they'll tell you like, hey, we've noticed some suspicious like activities with your ad account, hence why we've temporarily paused your account until we review it until further notice. I literally have seen clients struggle during Black Friday, Cyber Monday because they had to add a new card, and then the account got taken down for like 3 days for Meta to do an internal verification before they were able to advertise again. It sucks, okay? It sucks. It stops the workflow, and believe it or not, this is treated as any regular ad account ban, which means, would you have gotten banned because you infringed on a policy from Meta? Or would you have gotten banned because you've added a new payment method during Q4? And I am telling you, I see like Meta's algorithm during Q4 as like, think about this, right? Like an angry dad, right? Like and maybe I'm projecting here, but an angry dad that's like really much on edge. You know, they've been stressed with work lately, and like they're snappy. You know, everything you kind of tell them, they'll snap at you, right? They'll say something. They'll start being angrier than usual for no reason. That's kind of Meta during Q4. Okay, it's like any little thing happening that usually would pass, they wouldn't budge. Now they're like gonna target you for it. They're gonna snap at you for it, and you have to be careful about these, which is why, again, through my 4 years of experience, I'm trying to bring you as many of these safety precautions if you want in this video, okay? So in itself, make sure that you have the right payment method added right now. And again, they're treating that as a regular ad account ban, which what that means for your ads is when the ads do usually get started to run again, as soon as the ad account gets unrestricted, usually learning phase starts again, and it takes days for things to like pick back up. Okay, so it really slows down the learning curve and optimizations of the account, and sometimes the performance will really tank for a few days after the account got back up. Okay, we recommend the use of a credit card, or if available in your region, we definitely recommend a direct debit from your bank account or Meta's credit line, essentially, which are probably like a bank account and Meta's credit line are the best two methods of payment when it comes to having like less restrictions, right? Because like credit cards sometime, another thing that tends to happen, right? And I believe this is probably going to come out again in the next few minutes. But typically something that like happens is like payment methods will get restricted during Q4, which I'll give you an idea, right? You're typically spending $300 a day on Facebook, and your payment threshold is, I don't know, $3,000, which means once every 10 days, you get billed by Meta for like $3,000. So your credit card company, let's say, would that be Visa, MasterCard, Amex, they're used to seeing a bill pass every 10 days or so on your account for $3,000. But now because it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you start spending $3,000 a day. And now you get billed every day for $3,000. Your credit card might flag and be like, hey, yo, what is going on right here? I'm going to block this source of like payment, right? So they'll block Facebook, and they'll be like, yo, like, who is this? Make sure that this is valid. And what do you know? If a payment gets blocked on Facebook side, they'll restrict your account immediately. During Q4, they're not playing around. They'll restrict your account immediately. So that's another very common way of getting your ad account kind of shut down or targeted during Q4, which really is about like your credit card limit gets hit, or your credit card processor kind of freaks out because the transactions amount are higher, right? So it's either one or the other. Credit card limit got hit because you have a pretty low limit. You only have, let's say, $18,000 limit, and we're spending that like every 3 days, let's say. So like you have to like pay your card a lot more often and clear the funds so that, again, Meta is able to like keep pulling funds out of your credit card. Or you have to essentially like call the bank to make sure that they're not going to block a certain source of payment. So I recommend, like, if you want, before Q4, one of the best things you can do is actually call your bank and tell them, hey, I'm expecting a higher processing volume from this and that vendor. Please do not block any transactions coming from these guys during Q4. This is normal. Don't block them, please. Okay. One of the best things you can do by calling your bank. Okay. I definitely don't recommend using PayPal. In our experience, PayPal usually is heavily problematic. And if your account get restricted, it's always been proven harder to recover the account when it was using PayPal. Okay. Obviously, when it comes to checking your not ad account, but you could say your ad account's like payment settings and the payment frequency, as well as keeping an eye on like the daily ad spend and your credit card processor. Definitely check it daily. I cannot recommend that enough. Check that every single day. during Q4, okay? We ask that you check the balance daily and clear it as often as needed to not miss an automated ad account balance payment to once again alleviate the risk of getting your ad account restricted for missed payments, okay? Now, as for your credit card, pre-Q4 is a great time to negotiate better terms with your bank because you will be processing more volume, which means they're going to be making a lot more money from the fees they incur when you process more volume, right? So for anybody watching that is in the US, check out getparker.com. They have a net 60 or net 90 credit card offer, which gives you a lot more wiggle room, again, and better terms to kind of pay back your ad spend. For others, Amex also typically has like 55 interest-free days to pay back your card. Again, Americans, Amex Gold is an amazing card for you. Last time I checked it, the deal that they have is they'll typically for your first $150,000 in a year's period, they'll give you 4 points on media spend. So if you spend 150 grand on ads, they'll give you 4 times the points. So they'll give you, let's say, 4 points for 150 grand. So just right there, you have 600,000 points that you just got yourself access to. If you're traveling often, and even if you don't, then you can treat yourself with a few trips, quite frankly, a few domestic flights at the very least, with 600,000 points. So very advantageous with it in itself. You may also be eligible for a Shopify loan or line of credit if you are working with like Shopify as a merchant. We've had a few clients typically apply for a Shopify loan to buy more inventory, because that's also a big issue for clients, right? Sometimes it's like fronting all the inventory and planning the inventory accordingly for Q4. So you can actually get pretty good terms with Shopify loans in itself that you typically pay back automatically by the sales volume that you generate through your store, okay? So we had a few clients, again, use them and be very happy with their experience using them, okay? So all in all, the goal is simple. Free up as much cash flow by creating a longer payback cycle with all your suppliers. So as an example, if you're able to negotiate net 30 terms with Facebook, which, by the way, it is possible. If you literally Google net 30 payment terms Facebook, okay? You can, in a lot of cases, apply for net 30 payment terms, okay? There's different ways that you can apply to do so. For some, usually as soon as you get authorized to operate on net 30 terms, I'll give you an idea about what this means. It's like, let's say you spend $10,000 a month on ads to make this easy. Well, instead of like, as soon as you've spent 10 grand, usually what Facebook would do is as soon as you hit 10 grand, at that exact second, you're going to bill your credit card. Now, what they do is as soon as you hit 10 grand, they're going to issue an invoice. And from that day, you have 30 days after that to pay the invoice. So with that being said, it frees up, again, cash flow in the sense you buy yourself time to be able to pay back this ad spend. But typically new applicants, Facebook will only give you the ability to pay this ad spend back or this invoice through a direct debit, which means it's going to get like within 30 days, it's going to get taken out automatically from your bank account. Where it gets really advantageous is we've had some clients be able to negotiate with Facebook and actually get to pay this net 30 payment term invoice with a credit card. And that's, again, really where it gets advantageous, because what ends up happening is you, again, same example, you spend $10,000 in a month with ads. At the end of the month, Facebook, instead of billing you automatically, they issue you an invoice and then they tell you, hey, you have 30 days before paying this invoice, no interest. So then you wait 30 days. On day 30, you pay the invoice. So now it's been basically like 60 days since you started spending on ads, 30 days since you've fully spent that amount on ads. And now you can pay it with a credit card. And if you have a credit card like Parker, as an example, and you have like a net 60 credit card in itself, well, you now pay this ad spend and you have 60 days until you actually have to pay back your credit card statement with your bank account, which now gives you like 90 days to pay back your ad spend, which gives you a hell of a lot more time to actually get the money from your surge in Shopify sales during Q4 to hit your bank, to kind of settle and so on and so forth, okay? So as an example, like I made this example right here, which is you have like net 30 terms with Facebook. And this is the example actually taken from one of our actual clients last year that they had, which is you have net 30 terms with Facebook, you have a net 60 credit card with Parker, and you have a credit line operating at a 5% interest rate. So you spend money today on ads, Facebook invoices you 30 days from today, then you pay this invoice with your credit card, which means you have another 2 months to pay back your card now, and then you decide to pay your credit card with your line of credit. only 3 months after spending money on ads, you needed to pay this ad spend back, unlocking opportunities for you to make money on the back end with each customer without rushing you to pay back your acquisition costs. Okay? Now, again, I've talked about it right here, net 30 terms with Facebook, so definitely check this out. Now, in an ideal world, you also have a verified backup business manager to which you've already shared all of your assets. Going back to my little graphic from here, you will notice that there's a lot of stress on the asset level because if the BM gets banned, all of the assets get banned. So what a lot of experienced advertisers will do, okay, is they'll actually split their assets across different business managers. So I'll show you another alternative way of structuring your account, okay? So going back right here, you have at the top of the pyramid, you have your personal ad access. Once again, it never changes. This is your profile, okay? Then what you do is you have, let's say, 3 business managers, okay? You have BM1, you have BM2, and then you have BM3. And then here you have your Instagram account plus your Facebook page, okay? And then here you have your, let's say, ad account 1, and you have a pixel number 1. And then here you have a ad account number 2, and you have a backup pixel number 2. Both of the pixels are already installed on your website. Both of the ad accounts are already active and set up with a credit card. So as an example, okay, this this ad account gets taken down, whatever, I can create a new one under Business Manager 2, no problem. Oh, my entire Business Manager gets shut down. I don't really worry about it because I already got a second ad account on a separate Business Manager with a separate pixel, and my IG and Facebook page are not affected either. So again, experienced advertisers, they'll typically split their assets across different business managers to not pose too much risk on one business entity. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is think the same structure that I just showed you, but to even do that at the profile level, which what some people will do. Now I'm going into slightly more black hat techniques, okay? And I'll share with you some ways to get access to these black hat techniques in a second. But what you can do is you can have more than one Facebook profile, okay? So now, going back to the same structure, I'll just call this like PAA again. So I have personal ad access 1, so I have one profile. I have personal ad access 2 and personal ad access 3. So I've got 3 different profiles. And then I have same thing as earlier, BM1, BM2, and then BM3. And then all of my profiles have access to like every single business manager, okay? And now what that means is even if at the worst case, I lose access to this profile, right? It gets shut down by Facebook. Well, no worries. I can still access all of my business manager because I've got 2 more backup profiles, okay? You're not allowed to technically create more than one Facebook profile through your own personal name. So again, this is somewhat black hat in a sense. So we are using a partner for that essentially, which if you want to check them out, their name is Digit Solution. So if you go to digitsolution.io/setup-Justin, you can see there's a partnership with us at paidadvertising.com. They are an account supplier, which if you kind of go down, you can see it right here, okay? They offer you on a monthly basis a series of like profiles that you can kind of see right here, right? So as an example, what they do on their side, you got 3 verified profiles, actually 5 verified profile. You get 2 business managers. Both of the business managers are verified. One of them hosts pixels. One of them hosts your asset. They'll even give you like an old Facebook page that has already kind of been nurtured. They'll give you 2 Facebook page, and then they'll host like agency ad accounts under this. So again, this is a way for you to have like a pretty much as bulletproof advertising structure as it gets or as it exists out there, okay? So let's keep it going in itself, okay? You can create a separate business manager, by the way, for free right now. Typically, like most accounts have a limit, so you can usually create like 2 or 3 business managers. Keep in mind, if you want to verify this business manager, you would technically need to have another legal entity. You cannot verify 2 business managers under the same legal entity name, okay? So in this case, that's why personally, currently we own a few business managers at the agency. I've all bought them through these guys. So you don't need to just go with like their monthly plan. You can also work with them to buy like a one-time verified business manager as an example. So, which is something that I've done many times with them in itself. Okay. So same thing right here. Talking about agency ad accounts. If you're going to be running restricted industry ads. So as an example, you were running CBD or hemp-based ads or sex toys or hunting gear, etc. Or you previously had a business manager ad account restricted for your business. Or perhaps as an example, you want to have like an unlimited amount of ad spend. So I'll give you an example. Also, one of the best cases for why somebody needs an ad account. We had an insurance prospect not long ago wanting to work with us at the agency. Big insurance company. They're spending millions a month in ad spend, but they're spending millions a month in ad spend in native media. So they're spending on like mobile apps on the App Store. They're buying ads there, but they're not yet spending on Facebook. So they're coming to us and they're like, guys, we want to start running ads. We want to spend like $500,000 a month, like right away. And I'm like, okay, but do you have an ad account currently? They're like, no, not yet. Any new ad account you create on Facebook will have an ad spend limit. Why? Think of it as a bank, right? You have no prior credit history with a bank. Your credit score is non-existent yet. You've never borrowed any money. So you're like a brand new 18-year-old customer that comes to the bank to borrow money for the first time. And you're like, hey, I want a $500,000 loan. They're going to tell you, well, no, like we don't know who you are. You have no credit history. Nothing tells us that you're going to pay us back. So we're going to start slowly and build you up to this point. Same thing with Meta. When you're a new advertiser, what they typically do, they'll lock your ad spend limit as a daily threshold very low. So like for the first few days, they'll typically limit your ad spend to like $50 to $100 a day max, which means, and that's like best case. Most accounts will start at about $25 a day. So what that means is when you start advertising on Meta, you cannot spend more than $25 a day. So it's not good for any advertiser that want to start big. So you need an agency ad account. Or if you also want an ad account that like if ever it gets banned, it'll get back up automatically within 48 hours. Agency ad account in itself, okay? If you're interested in that, again, please privately reach out to your team. We'll be happy to kind of get you guys set up on there. We typically charge like a percentage of ad spend as a rental fee for the ad account, and we work through our partner here at DigiSolution for these set accounts in itself, okay? Now, third-party attribution in itself, okay? Again, Q4 can get quite messy. I've talked about that at the start with the team portion that you've seen so far, so I'm not really going to repeat myself too much. But if you're not on a third-party tracker for any of the yearly period, I strongly recommend you at least get it for Q4. Very important because of the amount of ad spend that gets pushed into a short amount of time. And it's incredibly important for us to be able to look at like hourly trends of advertising data that Facebook doesn't give us, nor does Shopify. So we need a third-party tracker to really help optimize on a tight cycle. So definitely recommend you check this out for Q4, okay? Triple L for Shopify businesses, Hyros for non-Shopify businesses is what we typically recommend. I'm going to skip the promotional calendar for now, and I'll get back to that a little later. I want to talk about inventory and suppliers management. Again, one of the biggest issues our e-commerce clients face during Q4 is the following, and I'll walk you through this section with two stories. In 2021, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, one of our jewelry brands generated $300,000 in sales in under 2 weeks. Keep in mind that this brand was used to regular $50,000 months. We were spending on the highest days $3,000 to $4,000 a day on ads. The client had to send us a heartbreaking message on Slack. Guys, we're out, no more stock, nothing left to sell. I'm freaking out. I have to hire a lot of workers fast to ship these orders. I am telling you, they were processing at the peak 3,000 orders a day. Okay, we had incredibly low customer acquisition cost during Q4, and they did not have the fulfillment capacity nor the inventory to supply this demand. Okay, early 2023, one of our American brands, we managed to tap into the Super Bowl frenzy and get their online store revenue from $40K a month to over $225K in just 7 days. Safe to say, they also didn't plan for growth, and we had to stop the ads. Look, I am not a logistics expert, but I'm simply ringing a bell and saying, hey, little flag to you right here, plan your inventory accordingly. As a rule of thumb, you can expect Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales volume to be about 2 to 6 times higher than usual, okay? So just important for you to have these discussions with your suppliers. Have these discussions with your 3PLs. Have these discussions with your shipping companies, okay? Make sure that you're aware, that they're aware that you are expecting a higher volume than usual. Make sure that you're aware of the delays. And going back to kind of what we spoke about with the team portion of this whole kind of video training for Q4, make sure you're communicating these delays or timelines with your customers through email flows, okay? Now, expectations, once again, this is your busiest time of the year. Emotions are often running at an all-time high, and stress levels can be higher than usual. As an e-commerce agency, this is the case for every single partner of ours. Luckily, we are limited in the client capacity that we have, and we know to bite only as much as we can chew. Though, to ensure you get the best Q4 experience, we're setting a few expectations that may or may not be different than usual. So this is primarily for clients, okay, in itself. Which, number one, we're going to talk about a calendar that we'll be sending you, a calendar we recommend you follow for promotions. It also gives you some cutoff dates that send us very valuable information, which we ask that you respect, because that will help us plan your Black Friday accordingly and reduce the amount of stress that you'd be facing, because everything will be done in advance. Number two, especially during Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, we're going to be working extended hours and on weekends to make sure we can best help you. Now, our call schedule and availability remains the same, but we kindly ask that if you're going to be scheduling in a call with us, that you provide a very clear agenda for the call so that we know what to expect, and also that you don't reschedule your calls during Q4. So from October to December, because call reschedulings, again, they start to get a little messy, and this is a time where we need to spend more time in your ad account than just having kind of these back and forths. And if you want or need a higher frequency of text updates, like as an example, because you're checking your bank account daily or your credit card daily, you need to know how much we're spending every day. Tell us, right? Tell us if you need more updates or different updates or a higher frequency of like spend checks or whatever that is, so that we can provide you those during Q4, okay? I'm wrapping this section up by reminding you to have fun. I don't know about you. I personally always feel giddy at the approach of Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It is now my 4th and a half Black Friday, Cyber Monday period in the e-commerce marketing space. I've worked well before at Apple for 2 years. My favorite time of the year was always September, iPhone launches, when we stayed overnight. We worked a graveyard shift to change the entirety of the store, change all the marketing material. We were the first ones in the world to like see the new devices, play with them, and be there on the opening day the next morning to welcome all the new customers. Now, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is my Apple launch equivalent now, and I hope it can be yours too. Okay, so just like our team and I at Apple worked around the clock to make these product launches special for our customers, my goal with paidadvertising.com is to bring you the same experience online. So with that being said, I'll be talking about the promotional calendar. In this last and final part of this Black Friday, Cyber Monday preparation for this upcoming Q4 2024, I did want to share with you our calendar that we're going to be using not only for our clients, but also for ourselves internally. So let me kind of move my camera aside. So in the month of August, on the 26th or 27th, we're actually going to be sending out this Black Friday, Cyber Monday guide to all of our clients internally. Now, anything regarding the Black Friday, or not the Black Friday, but the Labor Day weekend coming up at the end of August, early September, cutoff date 28th for us to receive assets. We're going to be scheduling ads on the 29th, and then we'll have the Labor Day weekend. Now, September is a month of preparation. The way we're doing it internally as an agency is we're starting by analyzing every single account. This is something you might have heard earlier in the recording. We're analyzing every single client ad account, spotting any sort of patterns and trends amongst mass market desires, ad angles, creative types, best audiences, or more specifically, like demographics being targeted, best destination links. So this is going to be like our cutoff internally on September 6th to have all of that done, plus sent to clients, alongside sending a request to meet with them to plan out Black Friday, Cyber Monday. By the 25th, we're giving ourselves like a cutoff to have all the calls scheduled on our calendar, at the latest to have been scheduled and held before October 4th, all things considered. So October 4th in itself will be the cutoff that we're setting internally to have received the entirety of Q4's calendar for every client. Meaning, what is the exact promotions we're going to be running? From when until when? What are going to be the destination links? What creatives we need to make for that? Not just for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but also for perhaps Thanksgiving or for December. Understanding also, and when you have it right here, right? Gift giving angle. You'll see that in a second, but typically, and I'll kind of do a bit of back and forth here, so I'll jump ahead. Right after we're done with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'll explain to you the color coding in a second. We typically launch gift giving angles, okay? So one of the best ways for you to let kind of the hype keep up all throughout December is to use urgency in December itself. So on Tuesday the 3rd, what we'll typically do is we'll swap out the ads that we've had before for ads around like a gift giving angle. It might either be different ads or perhaps a slight change in copy and a change in the banner at the top of the website, and as well as the hero banner on the site. So it might either be a creative swap or a copy and website swap, which we're going to go and attack really the gift giving angle, right? It's like, hey, there's not a lot of time left to give, gifts to your loved ones. This is the time, this is the season to gift to yourself. So either gifting to yourself or gifting to your loved ones. And then typically we're going to be running that all the way to our shipping cutoff campaigns. So usually about a week, 2 weeks roughly before Christmas, what we would do is we would launch like a shipping cutoff angle. Once again, either different creatives or simply different copy, as well as a change on the website. And we're going to play with urgency when it comes to the actual cutoff time for shipping. So meaning, hey, look, you might want to get this right now because you only have 6 days left before our shipping cutoff, or you're not going to get in time for Christmas, right? So more urgency to those campaigns, which we typically stop about a week before Christmas because, at the latest, like, our best clients, they'll typically do either overnight or 2-day shipping. If they do that, let's say across the US, even then during the Christmas period, there are shipping delays. What usually is an overnight shipping might turn out to be a 3 or 4 day shipping. So we want to make sure that people are going to get stuff in time for Christmas. Okay. So going back to the month of October in itself, at the start, what we're doing is we're front loading UGC for November. Why? As mentioned earlier in this recording, you would have seen that we talked about the fact that during the month of November, everybody's requesting creators to do UGC. They're swamped with work, so we know delays are going to be longer. So we front load UGC. We're going to have a chat with most of our clients because anybody who has a UGC agreement with us, we're probably going to request a contract for all of Q4, which we typically do month to month, except for Q4 because we're going to want to front load a lot of this work to be done so that we can get enough UGC to power us through all of Q4 and not have to deal with all those, well, how can I say, we will be dealing with those delays, that's for sure, but to be smart about it, because we know we're going to have delays, then start earlier than needed, start that at the right beginning of October so that we can have those sometime during November to power us throughout Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday period, okay? With that being said, if anybody is going to be running a Halloween campaign, we're putting a cutoff internally on the 11th. We're going to be scheduling those Halloween ads on the 18th. Why? Some people sometimes do a Halloween week in itself, or like a pre-Halloween sort of like new drop with a collection or whatever. So that's why we're giving it in advance on the 18th. Any client that would be Halloween only, then they're still going to be scheduled in advance. Anybody not doing Halloween, no problem in itself, all things considered. So on the 16th, essentially, so this is going to be like our cutoff date for like the VIP pre-Black Friday Cyber Monday ads. So as an example, like if you launch your ads 24 to 48 hours in advance or whatever, it's going to be there. Honestly, I put it on the 16th, but it's probably going to be before. It's probably going to be like early October because we recommend it at the earliest someone launches their like pre-Black Friday hype up to be somewhere around the start of October at the earliest. On average, it's around mid to late October that somebody would launch like a Black Friday Cyber Monday hype up. So that's why I'd say 16th is going to be at the latest. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably going to be best for us to like move that here in like the first week of October. On the 21st, start designing all Black Friday Cyber Monday ads, running ad copies, also replenishing our creative pool. So stacking up the briefs that we're going to be sending to our editors to edit for our evergreen content that will be needed to be keeping up the evergreen campaigns alive. Because once again, we won't turn off evergreen ads during Q4, which is not going to mean that like we need to stop optimizing them. Because if we do, then they're going to die out. So we need to still have some evergreen copy and content on hand for us to be able to upload throughout Q4. So now comes the big moment, November 2024. On the 8th, it's the cutoff for having finished to have designed like all ad assets for Black Friday Cyber Monday, which basically means that we should have all the creatives, the copies, and whatever fully ready for Black Friday Cyber Monday, which if you followed our guide earlier, in this recording, once again, we've talked about how at the absolute earliest, we recommend a client's launch about 2 weeks in advance. So on the 15th, which would mean that if we have all of our ads ready here, we can basically spend the next week with a cutoff on the 14th to schedule all of our Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns. So anybody who's only running the weekend, well, great. They're going to have all their campaigns already pre-scheduled about 2 weeks before. So that's going to be a 2 weeks of us being able to kind of do final touches, little touch-ups here and there, and, you know, just relax and wait for the big day, right? Again, this is going to be a very busy weekend where most of the work is going to be spent optimizing budgets. So we don't want to think about having to launch or design like new assets in that time period. Hence why we're aiming for about 2 weeks in advance to have everything scheduled out. Now, anybody who wants to launch like a pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or like you know, their same sale but like in advance, again, 2 week in advance, whatever is in red. So you'll kind of see again, I haven't explained this like color code before. So everything in yellow is like a cutoff date. So that's like the maximum by which we need to complete an action internally. Everything in blue is like us scheduling something. Everything in red, it's like or red, like light red, it could be a promotional period. Everything in green definitely is going to be a promotional period. So in itself, if I kind of keep going right here, it's 28th on Thursday, Thanksgiving, right? Which a lot of people are going to be having, you know, sales during Thanksgiving or perhaps like a pre-Black Friday or whatever it is. Actual Black Friday weekend starts on Friday the 29th this year. It's one of the first years now in a while, at least, that like Black Friday actually the whole weekend ends in December. So it kind of makes up for a shorter time period if you want, because if you think about times like last year, so on and so forth, there was almost like a week before or after Black Friday and like the start of December. So it was like, again, there's just like kind of this waiting game right here. So right now, Cyber Monday ending on the 2nd. Gift giving campaigns, I mentioned them earlier, we can launch them here. 4th, internally, this is when we do a cutoff date as to whether or not we are going to be doing UGC in January for a specific client. Why? We're front loading UGC again. Why? Not because creators are going to be busy with like more work of other brands, but because a lot of them throughout the end of December and early January, they're gone, they're traveling and whatever. So we need to like speak to them right now if we want to hire them for a contract for December or January in itself. 5th, cutoff for designing all ad assets for the shipping cutoff campaign. Front loading the December and January UGC in itself. So right after we've decided to kind of make you know, this decision in itself. And right now, even thinking about it, to, I think, make this simpler to everybody watching, I'm just gonna combine those two into the same little tidbit right here. Shipping cutoff campaigns, already mentioned that earlier. Cutoff for designing Boxing Day and ads and copies on the 17th. So about a week before essentially the actual Boxing Day. A week before the Boxing Day, we're going to be scheduling all these campaigns already in advance. Typically, whenever we stop our shipping cutoff campaigns, which means the campaigns that we run, again, with like some more added urgency, we're going to reduce ad spend for the post-holiday season. Which what I mean by that here, it's typically like the 18th to the 25th, it's dead. Like nobody's really buying. It's super slow at times for sales because people have usually stocked up for like Christmas gifts. Even if they buy from you, they know they're not going to get it for Christmas, so there's like no chance. People are not really thinking about buying for themselves that much because their pockets are empty because they just spent all their money buying for like relatives. So it's a really like this from the 18th to the 25th, incredibly slow period, like very, very slow. And then if you run a Boxing Day, starts on the 26th. Some people, and this is why I kind of put it in light red, some people run it from the 26th all the way to New Year's Eve as a sale, or as like a promotion or event in itself. You don't need to. Just again, you could if you want, all things considered. So all in all, like that is the calendar that we're going to be using with our clients during Q4 in itself, and how we're going to be organizing ourselves also internally to help manage the workload in that time period. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to work one-on-one with me and my team to have us review your paid ads and handhold you throughout all of this Black Friday, Cyber Monday era, then check out a link below to join my ad engine inner circle today. And if you want to partner with us at the agency to have us handle your entire ad acquisition, then also check the description below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com. On that note, I do invite you to check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.